Hey guys, welcome back to another clip of Schach-manuel-lernen. Today with the 5th round of the summer season. So I played in the 3rd squad and on the first board with black. And I prepared against 2 players which played d4. I played against none of them, but my opponent still played d4. And I decided to go for the hippo system. That's why, you have some theory, of course, because it's a really flexible system. But the main idea is the same with double fianchetto, and that appeared. e6, queen d2. So now we need to play h6. If we play knight e7 would be a mistake, because then he can trade the bishops. That's why I played h6, bishop e2, knight to e7. And now it's a critical moment for white. He can either castle short side or castle long side. When he castles long side, I can attack here and he can attack here. So that's a complete different game rather when he would castle short. But nevertheless, I anyway make the double fianchetto. It just has a different character, the entire opening position. He decided to castle long side, then I played a6, and then here he played knight to e1, which has the idea of playing f4, f5, which is a good plan, but in this position maybe it's a bit too slow, because the computer suggests h4. Why h4? Black can't castle short side, because otherwise we will lose this pawn. But long side is more or less impossible, because we would need a lot of time, and then it's still kind of not really stable. That's why the computer says, just attack here, because it's clear black will castle once in the future short side. In the game, he played knight to e1, b5, and then, I'll just show you a couple of lines. If he plays f4, I play bishop b7, and the threat is b4, pushing the knight away, and then I can capture on e4. So if he plays bishop f3 to stop this idea, then suddenly I can play knight b6 with the idea to go there, and with the idea to grab the bishop pair. He didn't wanted that. The other idea would be a3. It's actually always quite an interesting defensive move, because it's not so easy for black to attack with rook b8 and b4. It gives a target, but somehow it's still the best defensive move, simply because black's king is stuck in the middle. He played then d5, and d5 has the backfire that the bishop on g7 is now completely open for the long diagonal. But here, of course, you still need to calculate carefully, because there's only one variation to keep the advantage for black after this move. Let's say if you play e5, then it's actually not so good, because you could just close the bishop, and then is coming f4, for instance, and so on. If you capture, he can capture with the knight, and then black is still not really happy, because he can trade the bishop and have always some idea like knight captures c7. So here the only move that keeps you the advantage is b4. And by b4, you need to calculate what happens if white captures here. He did it, so I captured the knight, but he can capture the knight with a check. Now, it's pretty obvious that we don't capture with the king. So the question is, do we capture with the queen or with the bishop? Most people would just automatically capture with bishop, recapture, and then play like that. But the correct move is capturing with the queen. And if you ask yourself, why is it like that? The justification is you can go with the queen to a4 afterwards to attack his king side. So let's say if he would recapture the pawn, queen a4, this pawn is not really defendable, because if he goes with king there, we have a deadly check, and after going here, we have soon a checkmate. So he would lose this pawn, for instance with queen d3, queen captures, king goes there, and then we just have this passed pawn that is really strong, so it's not really pleasant for white to play. He can also play bishop d4, which is better, but if you're from a human perspective, this pawn is still really strong. So I understand that he didn't want it to have that. That's why he said, okay, I will play queen d3. Then I capture this pawn, it's protected. And he uses now this pawn as a Schutzschild, which means the rook here doesn't do anything to the king, and we would like to have it disappeared, this pawn. And here I played rook b8, then bishop d4. In the game I first thought bishop a7 would be the best move, but after rook b4, c3, rook a4, bishop d3, it appears that after queen e6, c4, black is a bit better because of the weak king, bishop b7, knight to c6, and my pieces are really fast developed. So he played immediately bishop d4. But now we don't have any pressure anymore on h6 pawn, so finally we could castle short side. And now he made a bit of a slow move. He just should have traded queen c3, bishop c4, and black has a small advantage, but not too much. But now he decided to counterattack with f4, but this gives me one move that I need, queen a4, as I mentioned before. And after capturing, we have this wonderful Zwischenzug, bishop e6. We just ignore the bishop for the moment, because we threat a checkmate on a2. And there's not really a good way to stop it. Let's say if he just plays c4, then we gained this move, and then we can capture here, rather than when we just would capture here, and then it's white's turn. So bishop e6, he defended with a3, the checkmate. Now we recapture the bishop, otherwise there would be material loss for us. And then queen d4 check appeared. Queen d4 check, I calculated it before in the game. And here you can pause the video quickly to find the winning move for black. It's from this perspective here, it's not too hard, because you realize, okay, there's a check, the queen is attacked, so you're forced to capture. White captures, but now we have this wonderful brilliance sacrifice, bishop a2. And he resigned, because the only move white has is capturing, and then we promote to a queen with a checkmate. He saw that after bishop a2 and resigned. But I needed to calculate that actually here, when I played queen a4, that after capturing this bishop e6 is possible, and then queen d4 is not possible. So it was a great win after 20 moves with a piece sacrifice. Was really happy about that, and the team won as well. So everything went perfect. Yeah, and with this nice move, I wish you a wonderful weekend. Stay healthy and see you soon.